Hi everyone, my name is Keely and I'm the owner and creator here at Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for another soap making video. Today I'm going to reveal what that mystery embed was that we made in the behind the scenes video, and a couple of you actually did guess right. I absolutely loved reading all of your guesses and it certainly gave me some inspiration for some future soaps as well. But the embed was meant to resemble a potion bottle because we are making a love potion. Now I am actually reshooting the intro to this video because I wanted to also let you know that Tiara over at Gypsy Faye also just recently did a love potion soap, and her interpretation of a love potion bottle is absolutely amazing. Go and check it out. But for now, let's go and see how I make my love potion. Let's go. Right, so for this soap I'm going to start just a little bit differently before we mix this up. What I'm going to do is take one of these cups. I have some of my Bubblegum Bliss mica. I'm going to put a bit of that mica into the cup here and maybe a bit more. I'm going to put in some of my oils from out of this mix here, and later on I am going to do a mica drop swirl. And the reason I want to take my oil out of this now is so that I end up with enough lye to saponify all of that oil that is going into this soap. So any of this excess will actually turn into soap, but we'll leave that nice pinky color all the way through. So we've got our bubble gum mixed up, and now I'm going to do the same with a little bit of purple. So we'll get that spoon knocked off, and I'm using some Magic Violet. So pop that one in there. And usually if I'm making up my mica drop swirl, I probably use a little bit more oil to mica ratio than I usually do, just to make sure that this is nice and fluid for when I pour it. If I'm mixing it to add into my soap as a colorant to color the whole base, I would probably use a little bit less oil. So I'm going to give that a stir, get that bit of mess cleaned up, and then we will start getting on with the soap. Alright, so we have our colorants mixed up. I've put them to the back so I don't knock them over. And now I'm going to continue doing this as I would with all of my soaps. So I'll just get this spatula out the way. We are going to pour our lye water solution into our oils down the stick blender just to stop any splashback. I'm going to mix this up and then we're going to add in some colour. So for my colour, it's going to be very, very simple. We're going to add in some titanium dioxide, which I've already dispersed in some distilled water. We'll give this a mix, and then we're going to do our mica drop swirl. Actually, before we do our mica drop swirl, let's add in our fragrance. And today I'm using Endlessly in Love, which is a duplicate type, and it's from Nature's Garden, and I get it from the fragrance shop, the fragrance shed here in Australia. It's got floral and fruit notes with musk and vanilla. So I'll get that mixed in, then we'll do our mica drop swirl. Grab a little bit of our purple. I will give that another quick stir just to make sure that the oil and mica haven't separated too much. I'm going to come up and put that down fairly high, and I'm going to drop in about half of it like so, and then I'm going to do exactly the same with this bubblegum pink mica. So again, high up, and I'm going to put in about half of that mica. Might just give that a bit of a swirl, and the advantage with putting that chopstick in there now, it's going to make it easier to clean that mica off. Let's get that spatula out of the way, and we're going to go grab our mould. Right, so I have now got my mould. Now with these moulds, I got these a long time ago off of eBay from Nicole HK. It appears that she has removed herself from off of eBay, and when I have found her website, she no longer actually has these molds listed on there. She only has the silicone molds. So I am going to see if I can find some more very similar to these ones, so I can leave a link down below for you. So I've poured in a bit across the bottom. Now I know this is going to sink because this is quite fluid, but I need it fluid for this mica. This is the embed that we made in the behind the scenes video this week. And I have, since I did this, covered it in a mix of Silver Lake and Blizzard mica. Now for those of you that did leave guesses, this is meant to look like a potion bottle. So hopefully once we get it cut, it will look like a potion bottle for me. I know it's going to sink right down to the bottom, but that is okay as long as it stays standing up. Now I'm going to pour in the rest of this soap batter here, and if I need to, I can add in the rest of that mica, but I might not need to actually. We are almost to the top there. That's looking good. I'm just going to go and give this a knock down to get out any air bubbles that we might have. Alright, so that is looking really good so far. I'm actually just going to smooth that down. Hopefully, I knocked it down quite gently because I'm hoping that my embed will stay sitting up straight there for me. What I'm going to do with the rest of this batter that's left over, I'm going to go and pop it into a piping bag, and then I'm going to pipe on the top of this to finish it off. Alright, so we are ready to pipe the top of this. This is actually still very, very fluid, but I'm not actually wanting any real definition on here. I'm just wanting to give the top of this soap just a little bit more height. So I'm not bothered if these actually fall down flat, and I'm not going to have enough to do those big, beautiful high top soaps that you see people do. It is just quite literally to give a little bit of a different top. So I'll get all of this piped on here, and then we will put our embeds on the top. I've got all that piped on there. I know it is not the prettiest of piping, but it suits for what I want to do. I kind of want it to look like a big bubbling mass coming out of those little love potion bottles. And in here I have some melt and pour love hearts, and I've got some pinks and some purples here. And what I'm going to do is on each of these bars there is going to be a pink and a purple heart. So let's get those on there like so. Now I was keen to try this this particular fragrance oil because if you've seen my past Love Spell soaps, you know that I got a bit of history with this particular fragrance oil. It was one of the very first fragrance oils I ever soaped with, and because it was my first soap, it was a little bit of a disaster, and it completely and utterly accelerated. I had soap in the pot, which I managed to eventually get into the mold. And I also feel that Love Spell smells very much like wet tea bags when sitting in the curing rack, and I'm constantly looking for wet tea bags around. Well, when I first did it, I had them curing in the house, and I was constantly looking for wet tea bags in the sink, thinking someone had put them in there, but it wasn't. It was just the fragrance oil. So I was very keen to try the Nature's Garden version of Love Spell, or Endlessly in Love, and it is smelling a lot better than some of the Aussie ones I have tried, but I'm still getting that very, very faint hint of wet tea bags. I don't know why. It just must be the particular combination of aromas in this one that is doing it. But it still is a very nice fragrance, and my customers seem to really like this one as well. So I'm sure this one will go equally as fast as the last Love Spell. That's the wrong colour, so we'll flip it over, put it into that side, and we'll finish getting these on, and then I have just a little bit extra to go on here. I know that this is a dupe for a perfume. I had a look at it and it's all pinks and purples with just a little bit of gold in there. So I'm going to spritz some of this gold on here, and the fan that I've got going on in the background is not making this job easy, but it is already up to 30 degrees this morning, so that fan is absolutely essential. So this, as usual, is that extravagance gold, and it's leaving a really nice pretty sheen to it. But to really finish this off, because you can't have potions without lots of little flowers, I have this mix of flowers which has got some organic rose petals, some jasmine petals, there are some lavender pieces, and I think that was it that I put in there. So all I'm going to do is take a bit of a pinch of those and just give a bit of a sprinkle down the middle, making sure to push the flowers in so that they don't come out once the soap has finished its cure. Down to make sure all the loose ones do stick in there correctly, and I'm going to bring you down for a closer look of Love Potion. Okay, so here is Love Potion up close. I am absolutely loving the top of this one. I am going to leave it sit here overnight for about 24 to maybe 30 hours before we cut it open, and we'll have a look and see if we've managed to get that Love Potion bottle inside. Love Potion is ready to cut, and look at the swirls on the side of there. I can't wait to get this one cut open and see what we've got on the inside. I'm going to lay it down on its side so that I avoid dragging as much of that botanical through this soap as possible. We've got that all lined up, and we've got the hearts that are in between the strings, hopefully. Yes, that's looking all pretty good. So let's cut this through and see if I was able to get that mystery embed to look like a potion bottle inside of our Love Potion soap. We're almost through. Alright, so let's grab this one from off the end, and that is the inside of our Love Potion. I am loving the swirls inside the bottle. It just looks like it is about to explode with all of those little good Love Potion vibes. And that is the top. We've got our two hearts and some of those little botanicals that could be put into a little Love Potion. I am super happy, and I love how that mica swirl has gone through. It gives a much wispier sort of look than doing an in the pot or an in the mold style of swirl. So I really like it when those mica swirls work like that. And you can also see in our little potion bottle here, you can see the wisps of gold going through it as well. So there is the other side of that one. That one just looks like it's all swirling in the middle there. So something I am really keen to see with this particular soap is if, like all of the other Love Spell fragrances, if this one is going to remind me of wet tea bags as it sits here and cures. So if you follow along with me on Instagram as this sits there curing on the rack, I will post updates on what I actually think of the smell. It is actually a very nice smell, and my customers really do like it, so there is an added bonus for me. But I don't want to be looking for wet tea bags in my sink throughout the next 4 weeks. But I hope you have enjoyed watching how I make my Love Spell soap. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up and any comments down below. If you've got any questions, I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. And until the next video, I hope you have a great one, and I'll see you then. Bye.